Hi, this is Chris. I'm doing another container gardening project. I had a few leftover figs from the season that weren't the right size or didn't have fruit on them at the time that I wanted to send them to people. And what I've decided is I want to make a triple fig planting in this container. And so I'm planting the figs at kind of about a 33-degree angle. They're going to grow out over the next year and make a really beautiful, about a 6 to 8 foot canopy with a really delicious selection of black and brown and creamy white tasting figs. So my first fig that I've got here is my Cadota. Cadota is an excellent warm to hot temperature fig. It loads up with fruit. It's grown really well in Texas, Central California. I mean, obviously places are very hot summers and just a lot of fruit. It's just got a little couple baby figs going on. It probably won't even finish off for the season. We're in the middle of October right now, but I want to get them rooted and started so they'll come on strong in the late spring. And then I've got a very reliable Black Mission. Already got a succulent, big old tasty black fig developing here. Probably about a week away from having a really delicious sweet Black Mission fig. And I've got my favorite fig I think so far, which is Dianna. Beautiful golden yellow interior, huge fig, probably about, oh my gosh, when they're ripe about this large. I think we covered it on an earlier video at the nursery. And what I want to do is I want to get the most out of my fig garden. I want this thing working hard, so I've decided to put one of my most favorite vegetables in it, or technically not a vegetable because it's at the end of the plant, it's a fruit. If it's in the ground, you're eating, it's a vegetable. But anyways, vegetable, fruit, what have you not, this artichoke plant, it's been beaten down to size so that it'll fit in here, cut off a lot of extra fronds. An artichoke plant is basically a sponge. It just sucks up water, and without a day or two of water, it just wilts away. So I've roughed up the sides of my figs to get some space in here, and I'm just plopping down my artichoke plant. Video man needs to stand further back to capture the scale of things, a little further back. And so, got my figs planted, triple planting at an angle. Again, they're going to be way out here. And in the off season of my fig production, I'm going to have some huge green globe artichokes. Ooh, butter. Ah, yes. A little bit of caper in there, some vinegar. Oh, yeah. And so we've moved on. We got this going. And the next step of the container garden project, since the first part of this got off in a hurry, is to make a cheaper mix. And I've got my horse manure, coffee grind, and a little bit of bagged soil mix in here. And in the bottom of this, I filled it up full of gravel and sand that I dug out of a creek. Yeah, obviously we don't get that from the beach, but you know, good creek where the water's been flowing, not where it's sitting. You don't want any of the salts or sediments that are there. So I filled this up down here, about 3 inches of coarse gravel and sand for good drainage, and so I don't need so much potting mix. And then I've got my really good grade A mule horse manure, Starbucks coffee grind, and a little bit of potting mix in here. Soil blend. This has a lot of organic matter, so it will settle over the course of time and need to be replaced. The advantage of this over the bagged mixes that we would get, or that we started out with in the first video series, is that this mix has a lot of food in here for earthworms, and we want to get this stuff in here going. Just horse poop, don't have to worry about our hands, not like dog poop. So, went and cleaned this out of a paddock down the street myself, and believe me, they're all too happy to let me do a whole paddock trash can full of horse manure for them for the day. You know, look in an area, do not use steer manure. Okay, steer manure is either steer manure or cow manure. If you don't know what the difference between a cow and a steer is, think about what gets Well, anyways, the cow is where the milk comes from. The steer is where the beef comes from. In any event, keep it simple. But they piss and shit all day long in the corrals and paddocks. And you just, if you get that bag stuff, you just wind up with a concentration of nasty stuff, just all salts and very little good stuff. A dried cow patty, or for those people in Saudi Arabia and Kuwait have been watching lately, you know, even a big series of dried camel patties. Get that camel patty in there, get that tea, those coffee bags in there, you've got an excellent soil mix. Or in the case out here in the desert, or hell as we like to call it, horse manure. Plenty of horse manure around here. Get that stuff in there real good. Get that tree a little propped up. And then we'll give it a really good thorough watering. And have a beautiful triple fig garden. Again, it's going to make a nice big broad canopy, about 6 to 8 feet tall, depending on how we trim it. And then it'll be filled with interior lateral branches covered in tasty little figs. And when it's done working, this artichoke here is going to throw out some heavy stalks, a big cluster of green globes on it. Yeah, love artichokes to eat. And that's this garden. Just be imaginative, be flexible. The only constraint is the seasons and your mind. You kind of open it up a little bit.